realtors that are out there that are also investors, or realtors that have investor knowledge, please, I have 4 very important words for you. This was told to me when I became an agent. I was first an investor. I had flipped, bought, and sold my first property. I came into real estate not to be an agent, but to be an investor. Then I eventually got my license. When I was studying to get my license, I told one of the instructors essentially what I was doing, and he told me advice that I will never forget. He told me 4 simple words: stay in your lane. It is so important that you have to stay in your lane. And let me break it down a little bit more. What's up, everyone, and welcome to Real Talk with Olamide, where we talk about all things real estate. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Olamide. I am a real estate investor, a licensed realtor, as well as a licensed loan originator. So I'm that triple asset when it comes to real estate investing. And today I'm going to talk about, okay, when you are a real estate investor and you have your license, what is something to really make sure that you think about? When you are an investor and a license holder, you wear 2 hats, right? And so it is really important that for yourself, you're able to wear both hats at the same time, ultimately, because you're an investor, you're buying property. Sometimes you're gonna represent yourself, sometimes you're not gonna represent yourself, really just depending on the deal, how it's negotiated, and how it works best for you and the other party in a transaction. But sometimes what I see is, sometimes when I see people that are both investors and realtors, especially those that do a lot of real estate agent type of commission activity, I see a lot of agents giving investor advice. And honestly, every time I see that, I'm like, please don't do that. Not because they don't have the knowledge. A lot of the investor agents, which is essentially someone that holds both a license as well as someone that actively invests, they have the knowledge. They know what they're doing. They're totally experienced. But it's a bit or a lot of a liability. Like, agents are prime targets to get sued. You don't want to put yourself in a position where you are giving out advice that you are not licensed to give. If you're not a financial advisor, don't give out investing advice to people. You can educate people. You can share with other people what you're doing, but you can't advise. Like, let me tell you something. I am putting out content on social media. I am teaching people, but I will tell you this now, and I have it in my page. I have it in probably the link in this description. I'm not a financial advisor, and I'm not giving you financial advice. I'm only here to educate so that you can make the best decision for yourself. If you are representing someone as a realtor, you have your realtor hat on. Sure, you're gonna have knowledge. You can't completely forget all of your investor knowledge, but you have to make sure that you do not persuade anyone that is buying a property to buy their property. You don't want to get sued. You don't want to say, hey, this is a great investment property, and then 2 years later, the market crashes. It's like, well, you told me. You have to stay in your lane. If your responsibility is to help them find a property, make sure that you're representing them so that they understand the contracts that they're signing, so that they can make a competitive offer, so that they can negotiate when they're making an offer. As a realtor, you have a specific responsibility, and that responsibility is not advising whether a property is going to be a great investment property in 10 years from now. You can't do that. Even if you have the knowledge, you have to really be extremely careful in regards to making sure that anytime you are talking to someone, you don't give financial advice. Realtors can be targets when it comes to lawsuits. Even just being an entrepreneur, you have to just make sure that you protect yourself, right? Everyone wants to have limited liability. That's why people are all talking about getting an LLC, getting a limited liability corporation. People also want limited liability. Nobody wants to get sued. Look, you have to explain to your clients, especially if they know that you're an investor, that, hey, yes, I am an investor. Yes, I'm gonna represent you on this transaction, but ultimately, I cannot give you any type of financial advice. If you wanna buy this property, it is based on your own decisions. You can lead them to a financial advisor, but ultimately, whether or not they choose to buy that property, it should not be because you told them to, or you told them that it was going to be a great property because you believe that that property or that area is going to appreciate 10 times over in the next 10 years. No. Stay in your lane, represent them, negotiate for them, make sure that the transaction goes well, walk them through the transaction, do what you need to do as a realtor, but make sure that you don't mix the two between being an investor and an agent. A lot of times investors want to work with investor savvy agents, but that doesn't mean that you need to advise them in regards to whether or not it's a good property to buy. There is a difference. There's a difference between being investor savvy and representing someone and having the knowledge, knowing what investors are looking for, being able to speak the investor language, and then giving financial advice. You don't want to mix the two up. If you have any questions in regards to what type of things that you should say to your clients, how to walk that thin line, then I suggest that you reach out to an attorney. I know the way that I handle it, but again, I'm staying in my lane. I'm not about to give you financial advice. I'm not about to give you legal advice either in regards to what things to say, what things not to say. And so ultimately, this is really just to drop the nugget in your mind that you need to make sure that if you are someone that is an investor and an agent, that you make sure that depending on what scenario that you are in, you stay in your lane, you represent your client when they need to be represented. And then when you're an investor representing yourself, you do what you need to do to get that deal done, right? I hope you learned something new today. I created a video about so many benefits of being an investor and an agent. I'm a total advocate for it. And I also shared a lot of the benefits and some of the cons when it comes to being an investor agent. So make sure that you check out that YouTube video that I put out there if you have not already. All right, so take care. If you're interested in becoming a real estate investor, feel free to reach out to me. I have a lot of resources. I have a course, I have a mentorship program, and I'd love to get you plugged in if you're really committed and ready to take massive action in becoming a real estate investor. So take care, have a great day, God bless, and I will see you soon.